On today's Michigan Football Report, we're going to drop some news nuggets on you that have come up in the last day, 24 hours early this afternoon. Make sure to catch you guys up on all the little comings and goings of Michigan football before I get into some transfer portal thoughts. The transfer portal is officially closed, but Michigan is still on the prowl looking for some players at certain key positions. And some fans are up in arms over not getting every single player, given that the perceived NIL extravaganza of dollars that Michigan has come under to get Bryce Underwood and ideally other players. And then we're just going to talk about the 2025 offseason, right? Spring practice is coming up in about 2 months. Michigan's got a big season coming up after beating Ohio State, beating Alabama. It is going to be an exciting spring into the summer. And today is a huge day. I'm going to talk about that next, right after this intro screen. For Young Harbaugh, Jack Latteray, let's get it going in the Michigan Football Report right now. We had to make a video today because it's the 1-year anniversary of the greatest day in the history of the world. Jack, religion aside, people say the birth of Jesus Christ. People might say this, that. None of them compare, right? This should be a national holiday, at least in the state of Michigan. Throw up the eights if you're a J-8er, 1-year anniversary of the greatest day in the history of mankind. Jack, I don't know about you. I think we should consider when we do like our planning for next year, for 2026 as a company, should have done it this year, didn't okay. We should make this a company holiday.
I mean, I think except for us, because like we got to make a video, but yeah. I think everyone else should be off. And I think we should already be planning the financials around going to next year, because obviously with Bryce Underwood, they're making it back.
Miami or bust. Miami or bust. So throw up your eights. I'm still basking in it. I watch the videos on a daily, weekly basis, and it's just fun. So, Michigan's not in the college football playoff this year, but I think, hands down, Michigan would have crushed. I'm talking about crushed any single one of these teams in the college football playoff, certainly any of these Final Four teams. Last year's 2023 team would have gone back-to-back at J.J. McCarthy return. Nevertheless, he's making his money in the NFL. Hope he gets better and is the starting quarterback for a long time for the Vikings or maybe another team. So if you guys are still basking in the glory like I am, hit that like video. Let's get our likes up on today. This should be national holiday. It is January 8th. So happy J8 to all that celebrate, who is everyone watching this video, my fellow J8ers. All right, Captain Max Bredeson is returning for his 5th year. His brother, a 4-year starter, Ben Bredeson. I mean, this family is just Michigan royalty. They've got another brother who played varsity baseball for the Wolverines. Who's Bredeson now? Is he in the Giants now? I think he's in the Giants. I think he was a second-round pick a few years ago. Max Bredeson is just the epitome of a Jim Harbaugh, of a Sherrone Moore, of a Michigan man. The guy single-handedly could have won Michigan at least 2 games this year, right? Certainly the USC game, right? 4th down, who do you go to? You smash Max Bredeson in there. He might have held a guy. He might have killed a guy, whatever it is. Khalil Mullings got in the end zone, scored a touchdown. And look, just what happened against Alabama. I'm not sure if Max Bredeson was the reason, but I certainly saw him just jawing, knocking guys to the ground, maybe getting a little elbow in there. Did it against Jack Sawyer, did it against others at Ohio State. He is just a mauler, and he is the type of guy. He is not going to score a bunch of touchdowns. He's not going to get all the glory. He's not going to run for 150 yards or anything like that. But from a tight end and mostly lately a fullback position, he is a captain who you want to return. I think the only captain that's going to return, of course, for next year. I'm guessing he will be one of the few, probably less than 20 or 30 two-time captains in the history of this program. Big time that Captain Max Bredeson is returning in 2025. We are less than about 2 days, actually. By the time this video is going to publish, we'll be about 50 hours away from kickoff, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, here in Dallas on Friday night. It's Michigan. It should be Michigan. Texas and Ohio State. Michigan got crushed by one of them. Texas beat the other one, lost at home, won on the road. I want score predictions from you guys. Predict the score of this game, Texas, Ohio State, Cotton Bowl, CFP semifinal. I'm not making a prediction. I predict Ohio State would lose to Tennessee. I think it was the video we did, Jack. They worked Tennessee, so I'm going to reverse jinx it, because last time they reverse jinxed me by picking them to lose, and they absolutely crushed them. So get your score predictions down below. ESPN's Matt Miller, who, by the way, I think he was like an ambulance, what are those guys, people who, what are they called? EMT and somehow became a writer for Bleacher Report in the draft. No offense against EMTs, but I'm not sure what his credentials are to be a draft guy. But nevertheless, he's got hired by ESPN a couple years ago, and he tweeted this out yesterday. This is cool. Michigan teammates, the 4 projected first-rounders, Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Colson Loveland, and Kenneth Grant, all living together. It's almost like, you go on vacation with the boys, you're going on a work trip or something like that. They're going to be down there for 5-6 weeks, I'm guessing, at least up into the Combine, which is end of February, early March, maybe afterward at Exos facility in Arizona, where they're projecting. It's kind of like a consensus of what I've seen in mock drafts over the last week. Mason Graham, I've seen him set every single top 10 I've looked at. Top 5, top 3 in a lot of them, but not all of them. Will Johnson, same thing. Top 5, top 3 in quite a few, but top 10 in pretty much every single one. Colson Loveland, I've seen him outside the top 20 in 1 or 2, but mostly 15, 16, 18, 19, 20 is where he's projected. I've seen Kenneth Grant as high as like 12 or 13, but most have him as like pick number 23, 27, 29, something like that. Hopefully Michigan gets all 4 first guys in the first round, because it just never hurts to have, leading college football, most first-round draft picks, etc. Helps for NIL, helps for recruiting, helps for program prestige that your program's name is getting called. Now, fans are going to say, well, how did they lose 5 games with 4 first-rounders? Well, that was the quarterback play and some things on the offense, which we'll talk about here in a moment. We are about 4 months out from the NFL draft. Let me know who you think will be the first Wolverine pick. If it's going to be one of the other guys, let me know that too. But we think it's going to be Will Johnson, of course, or Mason Graham. Give me a WJ for Will or an MG for Mason Graham down in the comments. Jack, I'm seeing this every day. Every single day right now, I am seeing people chirping me. I'm seeing people chirping Michigan, chirping whatever recruiting people are out there about Michigan's lack of superstar gets in the transfer portal. I am going to give you my thoughts on that coming up right after I tell you about Game Time. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. It's the app that I bought floor seats to see comedian Shane Gillis this Saturday night in Dallas, and I got a great price. Let me tell you, Jack, Game Time is the app to make lasting memories of friends and family. Price is so great, I'll tell you this, that we were able to buy the same seats next to us for my sister-in-law and her husband as a Christmas present, kind of, thanking them for watching the kids over the last year. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The 2024 Michigan football season is over, but Game Time is still the perfect app for tickets to all your favorite teams or shows and concerts like I did with Shane Gillis. You want to see the hot Michigan football basketball team when they return to Chrysler on Sunday, January 12th? Game Time. How about the number 1 seed Detroit Lions making a Super Bowl run? Game Time. I love the lowest price guarantee. And look, with these 4 seats with Shane Gillis that I got, I was really concerned that would I be able to see the stage? Would I be able to see what's going on? Would I have a direct line to him? What's it going to look like? It's different than that. Game Time has the seat views, a panoramic view of your seat from the app before you buy. Also, all-in pricing. You toggle on that feature, and you know your total upfront cost, no surprise fees at checkout. You've got their lowest price guaranteed. Game Time will credit you up to 110% of the difference if you find the tickets cheaper anywhere else. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and get your account. Use code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, code CHATSPORTS, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Link is down in the comments and the description of today's Michigan Football Report. What time is it? Game Time. So Michigan has lost out on a handful of transfer portal targets. Take a little sip of water here before I talk about this. Let me give some thoughts here. All right. You've lost off on Skylar Bell from UConn. Looks like he's going to stay there, et cetera, et cetera. Some other places. There was a wide receiver from Clemson, yada, yada. So a lot of wide receivers, right? Probably 5 or 6 guys over the last week, 10 days that a lot of Michigan fans were getting their hopes up on. Oh, the blog boys are saying this guy's going to visit. The blog boys are putting in the crystal balls for this guy to Michigan. Well, none of them are choosing Michigan, right? And I think people are like, well, this wide receiver room is going to be brutal next year, right? Maybe Tyler Morris will come back. Wrong. He committed and is going to Indiana. What do Michigan football fans expect, right? I am disappointed too, okay? I'm disappointed in not getting a star-studded cast of wide receivers and, all-American level players to line up to play with Bryce Underwood. But what do we expect after this 2024 offense, an offense that I think finished 130th, if not 131st, in passing offense in college football, behind one spot behind who? Iowa, and Cade McNamara, who I don't think even played the last half of the season, whether it was injuries or getting benched. Wide receivers, especially guys like Skylar Bell from UConn, who is one of their top 2 receivers this year. Looks like a game breaker, looks like a big body receiver that Michigan would absolutely love to have to throw the ball up there for Bryce Underwood if he's the starting quarterback this year. He's going to stick with UConn, right? He had to graduate, et cetera, stick through the spring. But is he going to risk his final year of eligibility for an unproven head coach throwing the ball with Sherrone Moore, right? When Sherrone Moore's been head coach, Michigan has not thrown the ball with, a high level of creativity or certainty or success at all. Even when he was interim head coach, right? Think about the 4 games last year. One game, J.J. McCarthy was the quarterback against Bowling Green. 3 interceptions, like 3 of his 6 interceptions for the entire year came in that one game when Sherrone was his first game as interim head coach. Then he go to the Penn State game, right? Didn't throw a single time after like the 7-minute mark of the second quarter. He went like 37 minutes of game time, 33 straight runs in a row. No confidence in the passing game. Had a little bit of success against Ohio State in the final game last year, and then almost none this entire year. So guys are going to have to be shown what this Michigan offense can do. I'm hoping that there are some talented players that show up in the transfer portal in the spring. It's a limited spring window. I think it's 10 or 15 days. Guys can enter the portal again after spring practice into April and May, and then Michigan will have another chance. Now, last year it didn't come to fruition, right? There were not a ton of high-level players in the spring. It's kind of one of the reasons that Michigan ended up with the quarterback situation that they did this year. But Michigan's got to put out, if Bryce Underwood's going to be the guy this year and he's letting up in practice, Michigan's social media and marketing team, maybe us included, give us rights to the footage. We will blast it out. Freshman Heisman coming. Bryce Underwood going to throw for 500 yards a game. Wide receivers should be lining up to play with him. You got to have a marketing campaign coming this spring at practice if you want any wide receivers after spring to line up with and play with Bryce Underwood. But guys have seen what they've seen. Look at these stats here. I'm going to pause up on screen. These are the leading wide receivers, right? You take out Diamond Edwards, you take out the tight ends, obviously Colson Loveland and others. The wide receiver position, 23 catches, 27 catches, 11 and 10 are your top 4 guys. Nobody over 250 yards, nobody over 2 touchdowns. It is insane. We'll continue to talk about that in a second. Do want to remind you guys, as always, don't miss a video. Subscribe to the Michigan Football Report. Myself, James Yoder, and our super producer, Jack Lotteray. Now we got Chip Lindsey coming in for Michigan's new offensive coordinator. All right, he was at North Carolina the last couple of years. Been all over the place, right? He's been around the block. He's nothing new to the coordinator game. But I know they were replacing Drake May this year. But look at this wide receiver stats, right? Wide receivers only. Your top guy, J.J. Jones, 36 catches, 582 yards, 6 touchdowns. Okay, decent. Your second best wide receiver only had 21 catches, no touchdowns, 365 yards. Your third best wide receiver statistically, Nate McCullum, 24 catches, 274, and no touchdowns. So you only had your top 3 wide receivers, Jack, only 6 touchdowns between them for this passing game at North Carolina. Your second, Kobe, Paysor, and Nate McCullum, your 4th and 5th guys. Second and third leaders as far as catches and yards were actually the tight end and the running back for North Carolina. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's diversify, et cetera. But Michigan's real struggle has been at the wide receiver position this past year, and they've been weak the entire Harbaugh era. And I think they're going to be fine from the running back position. I think they're certainly going to be fine for the tight end position. But if they are going to attract wide receivers, whether it's in the spring transfer portal, after next season for Bryce Underwood's sophomore year, et cetera, they have got to show these players what can be done. I'm not sure I'm confident seeing what I've seen under Chip Lindsey's offense last year, not counting the Drake May year from 2 years ago. Last year didn't look that great. I'm not sure if outside of J.J. Jones it was much better than what we saw from Michigan wide receivers this year. Now, there are still some solid portal targets out there. I'm not going to get into all of them because I don't like wasting my time talking about a guy just for the next day. He's going to commit to Miami, commit there. So we haven't gone too deep on transfer portal this offseason so far. But there are about 10 wide receivers, I think, that are Michigan caliber that could be a number 2, maybe a number 3 wide receiver and make an impact for this team in 2025. So, as things could come to fruition, if we're narrowing in anybody, we'll do a video on that. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to put the number at 15. 15 passing touchdowns for Bryce Underwood in 2025. Go ahead and comment over or under. Very simple. Over or under. I'm going to count the word, just a simple one word, over or under. How many touchdowns Bryce Underwood will have? You think it's going to be over or under 15? I'm setting the number at. Davis Warren's going to return. He tweeted out, maybe Instagrammed. I know it was a tweet, actually. He tore his ACL, right? That injury against Alabama turned out to be an ACL injury. So I would guess, I'm assuming it's probably, almost certainty, he's not going to participate in any spring practice. And he might even be struggling to return in the fall in full health, right? I mean, think about it. This is only a 9-month time, less than a 9-month timeline from, I guess it's 9 months today, right? December 30th to August 30th. That's 9 months. Or is it only 8 months? No, it's 9. 8. That's 8 months, right? Yeah, you still have September, October, November, December, right? So it's 8 months exactly. So he might not be even full spring, full go the entire fall camp, right? Maybe he's just there to get another rep, get another year in school, whatever he's looking to do. But returning for his 5th year, Jaden Davis, as of now, looks like he's gonna be back for next year. I guess he could transfer after the spring, but he is going to be there for spring practice. Then Mikey Keene, Fresno State starting quarterback, also started at UCF. I think Warren's return, let's talk about that for a second. I think it's great for depth. It's great for leadership. It's a guy who has beat Ohio State as your starting quarterback on the road, right? He's one of 3 guys to do that this century. Drew Henson, J.J. McCarthy, okay, Davis Warren. That is your 3 guys to go into Columbus and get a win this century. So love what we see. But my thoughts in general right now on Bryce Underwood, from what I know, from what people are telling me, for what the plan is, I would be stunned. I will be shocked. My mouth will be hanging down here if anybody other than Bryce Underwood, barring injury, knock on wood, is Michigan's starting quarterback when they host New Mexico to start the season, right? And next year doesn't get very easy, right? It's one of the wilder schedules. Michigan's only have 6 home games, 6 road games next year, right? When's the last time Michigan had 6 road games? I don't know if I've ever heard of that in my life. Usually they've got 7 or 8 home games. At Oklahoma in the second week. You come back home for Central Michigan. Then you're at Nebraska, right? So at Oklahoma, at Nebraska, the first 4 games of the year, have a bye week. Then you're at home against Wisconsin. 6 home games, 6 road games, including Michigan State, including USC on the road, plus Oklahoma and Nebraska. Not going to be an easy one for Michigan. But I did want to tell you this, Jack. Big time announcement. I was named recently the Greater Fan Club of State of Michigan, named me 2024 Fan of the Year. Can you believe that? They're the Fan of the Year. And they just sent me a guy, arrived today as Fan of the Year. I'm the first person to receive Michigan Football Fan of the Year, a Bryce Underwood jersey. They sent it to me. Look at that. Look at that. Bryce Underwood jersey. So thank you for naming me Fan of the Year. I don't know what I did, but they sent me a Bryce Underwood jersey, and I'm going to relish and cherish it for the next 3 years. He wins Michigan 2 national championships and at least 1 Heisman, if not 2, if not 3. So that's the plan right now. Michigan's plan is they're going into spring practice. They are prepping everything that Bryce Underwood is going to be the starting quarterback. So I'm going to ask you one more time, if he's going to be the starter, if that's the plan. 15 passing touchdowns doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But we saw the passing, atrocity of that Michigan passing offense this year. So we will see. Give me an over, give me an under. It has been the Michigan Football Report. Till I see you next time, go Blue.